go over a couple pontoon hacks. Really helped me out with this pontoon. I kind of stumbled on them on my own, so I don't know if anybody else has used them. I'm not stealing anybody's idea, but this is just what's worked for me. So this is the 9-foot Bucks Bags pontoon, the Sportsman's Warehouse one. And to get started, when I'm in a pontoon, I wear a life jacket at all times. You know, this is a Cabela's life jacket. I'm in waders, and I have a wading belt. As you can see, it's safety, and that's key. You know, I'm gonna float by myself today. I wouldn't recommend that for everyone. I know this river really well. I'm gonna float. I have people that know where I'm going. I have someone that's gonna help shuttle me. So I've got the safety part covered, but my piece when wearing waders is to wear a wader belt and a life jacket at all times, which I will do. And then going on to the pontoon, a couple things that I would recommend with the pontoon. This isn't the best anchor rope in the world, I just kind of grabbed it, but one thing I would really recommend is putting a carabiner on your rope. And honestly, the reason for that is, that's a 15-pound anchor. The reason for that is so that if I need to drag this thing around a log or a tree, I can clip the anchor off and carry it around with my gear. I've done that several times and it's really helped. Takes an extra 15 pounds off the frame. And the one time I carried the boat with the anchor, it smacked me in the side of the head. 15 pounds of lead, not so awesome. So that's something I would recommend. So going over here, I'm gonna go over a couple things that I added to this boat that I think will really help other people. So I went down to the store 2 years ago, I think, and bought a $20 double insert rod holder. And on a pontoon, organization is everything. So as you can see, all I did with this is zip tie it to the frame on both sides. And what that does is keep my rods out of the way. I steelhead and salmon fish a lot in this. I bring 2-3 rods every time. Keeps my rods out of the way, keeps the hooks away from the pontoon. If you're worried about it, put a tie on your rod so it doesn't flip around like a bead hook. And, you know, that's another safety issue too. So you want to be really careful. So this is the rod I'm going to probably use most of the day today. Just a worm. But getting that out of the way. A couple other things I'd recommend is extra rope right here. Strap your gear down. Always bring a pump for your pontoon. That is key, even if you think you might not use it. In this bag, I have a repair kit. I've got Allen wrench for the adjustments on the oar locks. I've got everything I might need because you want to be on the safe side here. And something that I kind of found on my own, I don't know, someone else has probably done this, is I went and got a much better quality boat anchor cleat, because the one that this came with, no bashing on the company, but it was garbage. And that can be a safety concern. Your anchor slips, you could cost you your life, worst case scenario. That's a $5 anchor cleat. And I filled these 2 screw holes right there with silicone and 2 lock washers on the screw. Tapped the hole where I needed it based on, the cleat here. And this thing is rock solid. I mean, it is as durable as the frame itself. I let it dry for a couple days before I used it. But this clip, every time it works. Every time it works. So, highly recommend doing that, getting yourself a better anchor cleat. Third thing is mount a much better rod holder onto your boat. I'm going to move this GoPro out of the way. Obviously the GoPro rail mount works pretty good on this boat. But the thing that I'm referring to here is the rod holder is right here. It's a actually professional grade rod holder. And how I did that is I put rubber around the tube, the metal tube, zip tied that rubber, you could glue it or whatever, and I ran 2 U-bolts on each side of the rod holder. You have to kind of look around until you find the right size for the rod holder base. This is a Scotty holder and a Scotty base. But as you can see, I had to take my Dremel and shave off around because that was actually just a hole there for the screws to go through. So since I'm using a bolt, I had to use my Dremel on each corner and cut it off. And as you can see, this doesn't look beautiful, but it holds that thing as steady as a rock, just like you would in a sled or a drift boat. So if I'm gonna be plugging for salmon or steel out of this, I do not want my rod going overboard, and the rod holders these come with are garbage as well. So there you have it. So the rod holder took me about 30 minutes total with the Dremel to mount that. Anchor cleat, upgraded anchor cleat, 10 minutes to do that. And the rod holder on the tube, on the metal tubes to hold my rods horizontal, no joke, 5 minutes total. So you're looking at less than an hour to make these upgrades, but it might save you a rod from flying out of your boat, might save your anchor rope from slipping out and causing a, tragedy, and it might save your hooks from puncturing your pontoons, and at least keeping everything organized. So with that, I'm gonna go solo down the river today, and there we go. Let's check back in a little bit.